Hey, thanks for stopping by Minnesota Black Robe Regiment. Make sure you're subscribed and checking out the bell icon down there. So what are we going to talk about for this video today? As I film, or as I shoot film, nobody films anything anymore. I'm so old. So as I shoot this video, it is Thursday afternoon. It's about 1:15.
Regiment, you are over the target. You are authorized
And
to fire at will.
by the time you watch this, it'll be Thursday evening. And Governor Walz will have done his little live press conference to talk about his new Coof jab incentives. So let's talk about why for a few minutes here. First of all, Governor Walz, Commissar Walz of the People's State of Marxisota is shooting for 70% compliance on Coof jabs by July 1st, which if you go back to his Coof restrictions, what he was going to lift all the restrictions by June 1st, except for the mask date. Let's just go with mask date. He was going to lift all those restrictions before he lifted the mask date on July 1st, except he flipped the script, lifted the mask date just a couple of weeks ago. And now all the Coof restrictions are all lifted as well. Well, we'll be here shortly. So they're still shooting for that 70% compliance on the Coof jab. And what they've seen now is that numbers for compliance have begun to drop. Now, most of the people who were complying, and I'm going to say right out of the gate, a lot of people that complied with the demand that people get the Coof jab were, all on board. They're like, jab us for everything. We don't want to run the risk that we'll ever get sick ever. And so please give us whatever jab you've got to jab people with, jab us now, or make us forever hold our peace. However, that being said, what we're dealing with now is people are like, well, they're lifting all of the restrictions. The mask date is gone. So what's the incentive other than, the pressure of if you haven't had the jab, you still need to, follow the mask protocols. How you enforce that, I don't know. And I've said that in numerous videos, but numbers are down. They're not getting the 70% that they were wanting. And they'd look foolish if all of a sudden they said, well, we're not getting the 70%, so we're going to reinstitute everything. Not to mention the fact that Governor Commissar Walz of the People's State of Marxisota is getting ready to run for commissar again in 2022. And he just doesn't want to be seen as the anti-constitutional Marxist that he is. And let's just be honest, he's anti-constitutional Marxist. These are just my opinions, based on observation, by the way. So they've got to come up with a plan. Now let's think for a minute. If this thing is so damned good for you, if the Coof jab is so phenomenal and so wonderful, why are we having to convince people to take it? Because we don't see this kind of pressure for the flu, which kills people in Marxisota every year. People die of the flu every year in Marxisota. But we do not see the kind of social pressure, media pressure, governmental pressure being brought to bear on people to make sure that they're getting jabs for the seasonal flu. So why is it that this thing that is supposed to be so flippin' good for us, why is it that they're doing so much? They've tried the threats. That didn't work very well because, Americans are kind of like, screw you. You don't get to threaten me, right? And then we kind of get our dander up and, and our hackles rise and you're like, don't threaten me. Don't you threaten. I'm an individualist. I'm a patriotic American. You don't threaten me. Right. So now they have to incentivize. So Ohio here a while ago, like, oh, we're going to do $1 million lottery once a week for however many weeks. We're going to give away $1 million to somebody who's completely jabbed. And what? First of all, where's that coming from? Don't say, well, it comes from the government. No, it's coming from the taxpayers because the government doesn't have money. The government takes money. And we're going to be doing a video talking about that, because there are people out there who are getting really bent out of shape when you talk about, the taxation being under the threat of force. Like they find that offensive. People just, they get so angry about it. Like, oh my gosh, how dare you? Well, let's be honest. The government doesn't have money. The only monetary substance that the government has, it has because it takes it from taxpayers. But anyway, so you got places like Ohio that are giving these things away. You're going to give money away. You have other places now that are like, so you have private sector now working in conjunction with the public sector. I talked to a friend the other day who reached out to a local brewery in his town because they were going to give people free alcohol if they could prove they've been vaccinated. What? Well, it's part of that incentivizing of getting the Coof jab. They want it, but they can't get you through threat of force because people, like I said, they get really angry and they want to fight you. So now they got to come up with this new system. And so now they've got to kind of dangle the carrot in front of you. Come on, be a good servant, be a good sheep, do what we say and we'll give you this treat. Ooh, good boy, sit, Ubu, sit. So here, what are they calling this? How do they? Where's that at? Your Shot to Summer program. Yeah, Your Shot to Summer. In other words, you can have your summer just the way you want to have your summer as long as you get the Coof jab. And we're going to incentivize that Coof jab so you can have your summer by doing all sorts of really interesting things. So starting on Memorial Day weekend, so between Memorial Day weekend and the end of June, the first 100,000 people in the state of Minnesota who get the Coof jab so they can have their summer back will be given options for their incentives. One of them is a pass to the Great Lake Aquarium up in Duluth. And that'll be valid for 2 more years. Lucky you. There's a 30-point ride pass to the Nickelodeon universe at the Mall of America. You could choose that one. Or, and this is truly Minnesotan for you, eligible, if you do this, you'll be eligible for one individual Minnesota residential annual fishing license effective through February 2022. Very nice. A free fishing license so you can have your summer back. What? Or you can be eligible for a Minnesota State Parks annual pass. Minnesotans will receive the pass in the mail from the Department of Natural Resources. I hope they move faster than Minnesota licensing does, because you won't get it in time to use it before it expires. Minnesota Zoo, you can get free admission to the Minnesota Zoo through September 8th of this year. Now, keep in mind, this is free admission, right? Which means the zoo isn't charging you. Plus, the states now had to pay for the vaccine, or the jab, had to pay for the jab. Now they're going to give you free admittance to the Minnesota Zoo, which, by the way, Commissar Walls of the People's State of Marxisota begged people to do more, to give more money to Minnesota Zoo here just a few months ago because it needed help financially. What? So now we're going to pay you to get jab. We're going to pay for the jab, and then we're going to give you free admittance to a place that's struggling financially. Do these people even think about the crap that they do? I'm like, I really don't think so. I don't think they think about this stupid crap that they do. Oh, here's one. If you're eligible, get your Coof jab, you can get one reserve ticket to attend the Northwoods League baseball game during the 2021 season. Whew, boy. Oh, here you go. Eligible for 2 admission tickets to 2021 Minnesota State Fair, the Great Minnesota Gathering. Ooh, you can have a single day admission to the Valley Fair amusement park for the 2021 season. Or you can get a $25 Visa card to be used anywhere Visa is accepted. I want you guys to think about this. This is supposed to be for your good, right? And let's just remember, every tyrant starts off watching out for your good. But this is supposed to be for your good. Then, not only is it supposed to be for your good, it's supposed to be safe. They never put any this kind of pressure or incentivize any other kind of jab for any kind of other respiratory issue or anything, really. Like, you're more likely to die in a car accident not wearing your seatbelt than you are to die of the coof, even if you contract it. But they don't incentivize wearing your seatbelt. They just tell you you have to do it. And there again, driving is a privilege, not a right. But they just tell you have to do it. Okay, I'll do it. Now, I don't think they should be able to force you to get a jab for anything. I just don't think they should. But because we're independent for the most part, because the decent portion of the people in Minnesota are still individualistic, because they're still individualists, because they're still volunteerist, they're going to be like, you can't force me. I'm not going to do it. So now they're going to pay you off. Alexis de Tocqueville said, like, and I'm paraphrasing, that when the government realizes it can pay the people from its coffers, the people will be loyal to the government. In other words, once they realize that they can bribe you, they've got you. And that's what they're doing here. They're bribing you. They're bribing you to be compliant little sheep. And once they've got you, they'll get you for everything. They'll get you on everything. They will never have to threaten you with anything again. All they'll ever have to do is promise to give you something. The problem is they've got to come up with the money for this somewhere. Somebody's paying for this. And it's coming off the backs of hardworking taxpayers. Now, some people say, well, then that's my tax money coming back to me. No, they're taking it from people and they're wasting it over a jab for a virus like the coof that has a 98% survival rate. Wake up, Marxisota. Your government leaders are morons, and they think you're dumber than they are. And some of you are proving that you are actually dumber than they are. And you're weak. And people are begging Commissar Walls, make Marxisota safe again. Make us safe again. This cannot happen. And if you comply with this just to get something, then you might as well take your official American card and rip it up and just say, hey, can you make us Venezuela, please? Because that's the direction we're heading. They know that the coof isn't as dangerous as they made it out to be. But they've hyped it up, and they hyped up these jabs. And now we're seeing that there are problems with the jabs. It's still in this experimental phase. We've seen it. But they've got to keep you getting it. And for the most part, here in passive-aggressive Minnesota, most people are just going to comply to get something out of the deal. Either to keep their freedoms and have their summer back, or to get something for free. It's not free. Anything the government gives you is never free. There are always strings attached. Always strings attached. They're taking something from you every time. And in this case, most of the time, it's your liberty. They're enslaving you. They're indenturing you to them. You do what we want and we'll give you a little treat. And a lot of Minnesotans have proven that they're nothing more than well-trained lapdogs, willing to sit up on command, shake on command, jump through hoops on command as long as you give us something, Commissar Walls. It's time for Minnesotans to rise up and say enough is enough. We're not complying with this stupidity anymore. Thank you for watching. And remember, it's not about being safe. It's about being free. Until next time, Sic Semper, Tyrannus.